Hey, Craig.
All right. We're a little bit behind tonight, so we're going to spare you all. I know you're going to be very disappointed in this, as if your night wasn't already very disappointing. We're going to skip the 4-minute intro. And I know all of you come here specifically to watch that intro video, and I'm sure that's the most disappointing thing you've heard all night. Definitely more disappointing than the performance of the Cincinnati Reds here tonight as well. But we're doing it, and we're rocking with it. This is going to be one of those shows, Nick. How we doing? Hope everything's going well. Happy Saturday. Happy 4th of July weekend. Except it's Friday.
I'm doing well. I apologize. All on me. Craig was prompt and timely. My kids were having fun playing with their cousins, and I wasn't going to stop them for this baseball team. So I hope you can forgive me, chat. I did the best I could to hustle home.
All right. Well, normally we give you a 4-minute intro to kind of like catch up on things, get some updates on the lower bar, start working on your MLB updates. I've done a lot of that for you, Nick. So I probably am not going to be able to give you 4 minutes with this brief box score recap that we have coming up here, but I'm going to do my best. I'll give you a minute, maybe 90 seconds, whatever you got to do here to get ready for the show. Go ahead and get going on that. In the meantime, I have a box score recap. And boy, let me tell you, is it a thriller? Reds and Orioles opening a 3-game holiday weekend series on Friday night at Great American Ballpark. Brady Singer squaring off with Orioles ace Trevor Rogers. Orioles get on the board early as a leadoff walk to Gunnar Henderson results in a run after a throw by catcher Tyler Stevenson as Henderson was stealing third, ended up in left field. Orioles led 1-0 early as Singer was lucky to escape a 30-pitch first inning without further damage. After a ground rule double to Adley Rutschman to start the third inning, Samuel Basallo crushed a opposite field home run for a 3-0 Orioles lead. Singer would sit down the next 7 facing the minimum and finish his day with just those 3 runs, only 2 of them earned on 3 hits in 5 innings of work. He struck out 6 but walked 5 on the day. Reds literally couldn't get anything going offensively against Rogers, who allowed just 2 hits over 5 scoreless innings. On the bright side, Caleb Ferguson, Chase Petty, and Julian Garcia combined for 4 scoreless innings of work to keep the Reds within reach, but they couldn't do anything offensively. They managed just 4 singles on the day. They fall 3-0 and now sit at 40-47 on the season. And well, as you can imagine, when you don't score any runs, means we don't have a deep drive of the day from the major league team. But let me tell you, Reds minor leagues today went on an absolute home run parade. There was a little bit of time there during the game when I was getting notification after notification after notification from these minor leagues teams with home runs that were happening. So I had a cream of a crop choice, and I just went with the simple one, Nick. Today's deep drive of the day.
All right, our deep drive of the day, Hector Rodriguez. How about this? 113.7 off the bat, 423 feet. Hector Rodriguez's 19th home run of the season. Hopefully we'll see him after the trade deadline when the Reds sell. As always, our deep drive of the day is brought to you by Braxton Brewing Company, the official craft beer partner of the Cincinnati Reds. Crack open a ballpark beer, a crisp German-style light beer, crafted perfectly for 9 innings in hot summer nights. Grab a cold one at Great American Ballpark, Braxton Tap Rooms, or your local retailer. Braxton Brewing, brewed for Reds country. And also, we are now proud to tell you that Braxton Brewing is also the presenting sponsor of Cincinnati's biggest golf event of the summer. The $100,000 prize pool 2-person scramble is back. The Chatterbox Championship, now accepting teams featuring a format with 2 divisions designed for fair competition. Sign up your team today at 513golf.com. We just posted a video up on YouTube. There's actually a full video and a short as well, kind of talking a little bit. Trace talked a little bit more about that. So spread the word. We would appreciate that.
Absolutely. And shout out to Braxton for supporting the event. Obviously, good friends of mine personally, but I got to say, Wednesday night, I made an appearance at the Union Tap Room for the Team USA soccer match. And if you are watching these World Cup games and looking for somewhere to watch it, Braxton Tap Rooms, either the Union location there in Kentucky or Factory 52. Great options for you. They've got the games on giant screens and beers from around the world. So if you're looking for a place to watch Team USA take on Belgium on Monday night, may I recommend the Braxton Tap Rooms. All right, Nick. Look, I would like to say you missed a lot by being at your sister-in-law's tonight, but offensively you missed very little. Reds managed just 4 singles on the night. The highlight of the night, I guess, Ellie De La Cruz becomes the youngest Red in since 1900 to swipe 150 bases. But other than that, not a whole lot to talk about here offensively. Trevor Rogers is really dang good. I mean, somehow the Reds smoke Jacob Mizorowski. They smoke Paul Skeens, who both throw 100 after spending the entire year not being able to hit guys that throw 95 plus. And then they turn around and they can't hit Trevor Rogers, who sits around 93.
Was this not the most predictable thing you've ever seen? Like, I mean, it just is. Like, it's just, I don't know. Some of it's just baseball being stupid. Some of it, this lineup is not very good. And I will say this lineup is really missing Dane Myers and Blake Dunn against left-handed pitching. So I think like that also does hurt a little bit. You just really, I mean, you look at this lineup without those two. Ellie has had a good year this year against left-handed pitching, but throughout his career, he's been a below-average hitter. Sal Stewart, Spencer Steer, certainly well above average. I would also put Tyler Stevenson in that category as well. Everyone else, I think, is a below-average hitter against left-handed pitching. So it's going to be easy for guys like Rogers to have success against a team like this, and that's what I think does make Dane Myers and Blake Dunn so valuable to this team, is they do provide balance in games like this.
Yeah, 2 outfielders obviously unavailable for you on the evening, and so JJ Bleday has to get the start. He bats 6th.
Matt McLean in center field.
Matt McLean in center field. TJ Friedel comes into the game in the 6th inning for Matt McLean. Look, it's just off, especially offensively in center field right now. You have very little options, especially with those 2 guys hurt, and which begs the question, like, why is Will Benson down in Louisville? Why is Hector Rodriguez down in Louisville? Like, I know that Hector Rodriguez isn't like the greatest defensive outfielder, and I understand that, but like, at least offensively, it gives you something. And if right now you can't get anything going offensively, and tip your cap to Trevor Rogers, right? Like, I don't want to downplay this. Like, over his last 35 2/3 innings, he's allowed just 7 earned runs for the Orioles. He is very good. And as a Orioles franchise owner in fantasy baseball, I'm probably more familiar with them than most Reds fans. Trevor Rogers is the real deal. Obviously received Cy Young votes last year, started the season rough this year, but had a 2.05 ERA in June. This isn't some nobody that just kind of came out of nowhere like the Reds have done in the past, where they've allowed guys that are trash to shut them down. Trevor Rogers is a really good pitcher. It's just really unfortunate that this Reds offense is so inconsistent that they can do what they did to Skeens, do what they did to Mizorowski, and then turn around and do what they did against Rogers. So I guess just your thoughts on the outfield situation right now. You mentioned it during the deep drive in terms of maybe after the trade deadline, we see guys like Hector Rodriguez. But, I mean, what do the Reds do right now?
Well, the problem is neither Benson or Rodriguez would help you on a night like tonight. Neither one of those guys are, in my opinion, big league players against left-handed pitching. I think there's very few left-handed batters. JJ Bleday certainly is not. I think we're seeing that the more that we see him. He's kind of come crashing down to earth. And again, I'm not going to dump on JJ Bleday, but like, I think the whole like can't trade JJ Bleday under any circumstances is kind of okay. Yeah, it's you kind of see why he was available. Again, I think he's still an incredible talent, but the problem is no matter who you had up, like I think it's really the conversation is Benson versus Friedel, Hector Rodriguez versus maybe like Suarez, and moving people to DH and stuff like that. That's kind of where I think that what I would be playing with. You just, unfortunately, without Dane Myers and Blake Dunn, you just don't have a lot of options against left-handed pitching.
Yeah. All right. Well, it is what it is. Not a whole lot to be able to say on a night like tonight offensively. Let's get into Brady Singer. Interesting stat line, I guess, to say the least, for Brady Singer. Gives up just 3 hits. Unfortunately, one of them was a 2-run home run. The other run that he allowed in the first inning was unearned. That error on Tyler Stevenson on the stolen base attempt at third base. The biggest issue for Singer is the 5 walks. And maybe that's just a byproduct of him trying to get more chase, which is also why he had 6 strikeouts tonight, which has not been his norm. But you can't walk, guys. And unfortunately, that kind of came back to haunt a little bit tonight. I don't know what to say about it, but with Hunter Green right around the corner starting tomorrow, which we'll talk about in a couple minutes, Brady Singer kind of needed to continue his trajectory that he had been seeing and wasn't able to do that on Friday night. But again, like, not a terrible outing, but just not efficient and not a good outing by any means either.
Singer's had a weird season. Both pitchers tonight walked 5 batters. Me and Trace talked about this before. Singer's been better when he's walked batters. I don't know if it's just completely a weird crapshoot, but like when he's walked 4 batters, he's given up 3 runs, and now another 3 earned runs. When he's walked 3 batters, he's given up 1 earned run, 1 earned run. When he's walked 2, he's given up 0, 4, 3. But then when you look at some of the 1 walk performances, he gave up 5 earned runs, he gave up 4 earned runs. The 0 walks, he gave up 5 earned runs and 6 earned runs in a start. So, like, I don't know. With Singer right now, and overall, this is fine. Like, if you're if you're a Reds fan, what you're hoping with Brady Singer is just don't do anything that's going to be alarming to other teams at the trade deadline. If Singer goes out and he pitched 10 starts in a row of quality starts, he's not got that many, 5 starts before the trade deadline, I don't think a team's gonna be like, oh man, Singer's hot right now, we got to get him. I think like they're basing it more off of his track record. So it's almost like just don't do anything that would be alarming. Tonight's not really going to be, I think, alarming to a lot of teams. I think teams that would want Brady Singer at the trade deadline know they're getting an average to maybe slightly below average big league starter that's going to eat innings, that's going to help you get through and survive a 162 game season. So that's where I'm at with Singer. Just don't do anything stupid.
Just do anything you need to do to maintain your trade value at this point, because that's the most important thing that he can do from a Reds perspective is be tradable here in the next 28 days. So yeah, look, I guess I think the question's going to kind of figure itself out with the trade deadline and everything else, but you've got Hunter Green coming back tomorrow to make his debut. The rotation seems kind of set at this point, or maybe not set, but I saw a tweet earlier about the Reds game notes and how they have the starting rotation set up, which is Singer tonight, Green on Saturday, Lodolo on Sunday, off day on Monday, Abbott on Tuesday. So you've got basically a decision to make between Lauder and Singer. You also
have the All-Star break. Like you're also like you have 6 games after those, or 5 games after those until the All-Star break. So it'll be interesting to see who goes down tomorrow. I'm assuming it's a reliever, right? It has to be it has to be a pitcher because you can't have 14 pitchers.
Correct. It has to be a pitcher.
Probably Garcia, and probably part of the reason they used him tonight.
Yeah, well, they used Petty for an inning and 2/3 too, so maybe Petty. Garcia.
It would have to be one of those two. There's no real other options unless someone's hurt we don't know about. I mean, it has to be one of those two.
Sam Moll,
there's no
Phantom Elston.
Yeah, well, I don't think they want to do that for any of those guys, because those are the guys you want to try to move at the deadline. And you know,
right.
It's something that has bugged me. I've seen so many people saying, "Well, who do the Reds have that have any trade value?" Like, come on, have we like never watched the trade deadline? Like, teams get, like, the Rockies always have players that teams want, that teams cover, that teams give up prospect for. So, like, these relievers, like there's like 4 relievers in Ferguson, Burke, Pierce Johnson, Sam Mole, hell, maybe even TJ Antone and Emilio Pagan. Like, teams are going to want these. Like, everyone can use a reliever that's contending. Everyone. And you know, great or just an average guy. So, like, these guys all have some value. And again, like, no trade is too small. Like, that's what the really successful small market teams do is they hit on a few of these. You're not going to hit on all of them, and you're probably not going to hit on many of them. But, man, you hit on one trade of trading Sam Mole for a prospect that ends up being a big leaguer down the road, you know, like Hector Rodriguez for Tyler Naquin. That's like Tyler Naquin was not great in 2022. Like, I think he was an average player. I think he played one more year in the big leagues, and like he was like done. And the Reds got Hector Rodriguez, a guy that we're now kind of hoping can be a legitimate big league starter. So no trade is too small. And I will defend that forever, that you should always capitalize on every single player you can. And don't just be like, well, he doesn't really have that much trade value. No, every trade matters.
I think the thing that's difficult for people to swallow, including myself, is that pending the outcome of the CBA in 2027, the Reds likely have a limited window right now where they have a young core of Chase Burns, Ellie De La Cruz, to be able to go out and try and win now. And yes, the truth of the matter is that those guys that we're talking about trading away are probably not part of that equation anyway. Don't get me wrong. But on the flip side is that you're talking about guys that you're trading these people away for prospects that we hope will pan out in 3, 4, 5 years and likely are not part of the picture in order to win now. And we're in a market, a sport, a team, a world where we're looking for instant gratification, Nick. And the difficult part is that we're not going to get it from this team. That is gone. The idea that the Cincinnati Reds can give you any sort of gratification in 2026 is out the window. We're past that. They're 7 games under 500. They continue to fall further and further out of the playoff picture. They are one of basically 3 sellers at this point at the trade deadline, or should be. But we still look at this core and we look at this roster, and quite frankly, you and many others have sat here and told us for the last 3 years that the core is there and that we should be putting together a winning franchise and a winning team. How does that happen from where we are today on Friday, July 3rd, 2026 to 2027, 2028, and maybe even into 2029 with Ellie De La Cruz's final year of team control?
Most of the players I'm talking about trading, like, you're not going to have next year either way.
Correct. And I said that. They're not part of the picture. I get it. But we're also talking about getting returns for people that might pan out in 5 years.
Like, you could trade Pierce Johnson and go sign him right back in 4 months. Like, you could trade Tyler Stevenson and go sign him back in 4 months. Like, teams do that. That happens across baseball. I don't know. I think the whole window thing is the thing that I think has actually set this franchise back the most, is that they've been too obsessed with trying to have everything in. Well, here's the problem. They want to be all in, but they're not going to spend to be all in. And if you can't spend to be all in, you shouldn't be all in. The Brewers are never all in. Never. This team trades talented players every single offseason. And that they don't look at windows. They always just look at improving their franchise. Like, that's the thing. They're never so super hyper focused on 2026. I think the Reds have been too focused on 2024 and 2025 and 2026 when they should just be focused on trying to build an organization that has talent up and down. So again, but like the whole like, well, you know, how are we going to capitalize on the window? I mean, I would point you back to 2022. Like, in 2022, I mean, it was dire. This team lost 100 games. They were not even remotely competitive. They started 3-22. And the next year, they had a winning season. Like, it doesn't take that much. And And some of these trades, you could find players that could help you in the near future. But to get that, you're probably going to have to trade less of the players that are easy to trade. And I don't think most Reds fans are going to lose their sleep over trading Caleb Ferguson. But trading players like Nick Lodolo, it's a little harder. But those are the type of players that can get you returns that maybe help you a little quicker.
Yeah, that's true. Lodolo is a big one that we probably haven't talked as much about. I guess the conversation that's been happening, right, is this down to the studs movement, where they basically want top to bottom wiped out, right? So like get rid of everybody, front office, managerial staff, organizational development staff, all of it. I think the difficult part for me, who's maybe not as invested in the MILB part as you and some others, is knowing that the trade deadline is 4 weeks away. At this point, you've got to kind of just accept the fact that Nick Krall is going to be leading this trade deadline. Does he lead this offseason? I honestly don't know that answer. And for a long time, I've felt that Nick Krall was pretty secure in his job. But I don't know that I still feel that way today. And so the question becomes, all right, how does this front office and this ownership group put the team on the right trajectory, knowing that Nick Krall may or may not be part of that picture moving forward? And does that change how you approach this deadline? Because on the flip side, you've got teams like the Boston Red Sox who should be good and are terrible and have a GM who is on the hottest of hot seats right now that is going to go all in and buy at the deadline, even though they should be very clearly sellers. You've got the Baltimore Orioles who made changes just a few months ago, a year ago, hired a new manager this offseason. They've got a GM who should be on the hot seat because of the young core that they have put together right now. But instead, their GM is talking about buy as well. They're going all in despite being under 500. And so my question to you, in one of the concerns that I have, if I'm being honest, is I don't know that I trust this front office to do what they should do. And so knowing what I think you think is the right thing to do, what do you think is the actual thing that the Reds will do?
There's so many factors that go into that. Number one, it's what is Nick Krall being told? Is Nick Krall still under the same pressure that you're talking about with the Red Sox? If he's under that same pressure, it's going to be hard to kind of sell. If he's like, well, I'm not going to be around next year, I got to try to hey, I know we have a 1% chance of making the playoffs, but if my only way I can keep my job is if we make the playoffs, well, I'm just going to trade everyone. I'm going to go all in this year. But if he has assurances that, hey, he's going to be around next year, then it's a lot easier. So I guess you could say, well, just fire him and bring someone else in. Well, good luck trying to trade a whole bunch of assets with interim GM. That's not easy either. So they're stuck in a hard spot where, in my opinion, the easiest thing for this franchise, and the best thing for this franchise, would be just to say, Nick Krall, you have another couple of years, do the right thing. But unfortunately, I don't think that ownership is patient enough. And I certainly know that the manager who's pushing a lot of the buttons isn't patient enough. And I don't blame him, in fairness, because he's at the end of his baseball career. I don't blame him for not caring about what happens to the Cincinnati Reds in 5 years. But that's the biggest issue with this organization. It just feels like there's so many pieces that are pulling in different directions. And then you watch an organization like the Brewers, where everyone is just in such perfect harmony. Everyone knows their roles, and everyone's on the same page. The Reds just feel like they're never on the same page.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've talked about one of the biggest assets that the Reds have is this bullpen. The bullpen pitched really well tonight. I mentioned it during the box score recap, but 4 innings, 1 hit, no runs, set down the final 11 that they faced, Nick, and faced the minimum over those 4 innings thanks to a double play from Samuel Basayo. Ferguson we've known, right? But like Petty is an unknown piece. Julian Garcia is a bit of an unknown piece. But to be honest, if the deadline goes the way we think the deadline should go, Petty and Garcia better be ready because they're going to get a lot of innings in the second half of the season. Your thoughts on the bullpen's performance tonight and moving forward?
No, refreshing to see no one walk anyone. Fortunately, it's felt like when the Reds have had some of these great bullpen nights, it's been in losses. And it's felt like they haven't been able to sync up. And I will say it is easier to pitch in a 3-0 deficit than a 2-1 lead. Like it is easier. Ferguson's been awesome. Stinks that this team hasn't been good enough because that would have been an awesome free agent signing that we would be raving about. But when the team stinks, no one really cares, and I don't blame anyone. Petty, love that he didn't walk anyone, but he's just not striking anyone out. And you get 3 hard hit balls. It's just hard to live that way. Again, he's still so young. Like I don't want to like freak out and be like he's not missing enough bats. He's still young. He's still going to develop ways to miss more bats. But that's a concern at least in the short term, that I don't know if what he's doing is sustainable, and what he's doing has been okay, to be fair. Julian Garcia, yeah, he's done a really nice job, and he's the kind of guy you want to give a real run in the second half and see if maybe he could actually be a guy that could be your next Fernando Cruz. I don't know. I'm not going to crown him that yet, but he should, like you said, should get a lot of run in the second half.
Yep. All right. Any final thoughts on tonight's game?
Nope.
Any comments on Ellie becoming the youngest Red to reach 150 stolen bases?
It's pretty cool.
I think that was literally the only other storyline tonight.
Pretty cool. What was he at 140 2 years ago?
All right. Minor leagues?
Minor leagues. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. I hope my notes are good for you. I don't know how much
they look fantastic. They look fantastic.
All right, here we go.
I'll start off with AAA. The Louisville Bats, they won 3-1 over Columbus. Bats now 4-5 in the second half. Jose Acuna made his AAA debut. Well, sort of his AAA debut. He was up at AAA last year, then went back down to AA this year, first time back. 6 innings, 1 hit, 1 run. That looks great, but he walked 6 batters, so that's not great. But overall, I guess a pretty positive return to AAA for Jose Acuna. Luis May, he threw a scoreless inning. That's good to see. Carlos Jorge, 1 for 4. I believe he has reached base in all 4 games since getting promoted. Hey, Sam Haggerty got a hit tonight. Shout out to Sam Haggerty. He was 1 for 4. Hector Rodriguez, as mentioned, our deep drive of the day, 2 for 4 with a home run, his 19th of the season. Will Benson got the evening off. They are currently still in action in AA. Chattanooga, they are struggling. They are down 12-3 to Biloxi, but the good news from this one, Alfredo Duno hit his first AA home run, also doubled as well in this one, so he's having a good night. Jay Allen, what you looked it up, was it 4? He's homered in 4 of the last 5 games?
4 of the last 5, 3 straight games, 4 of his last 5.
That's awesome. Yeah, Jay Allen's been playing really well. Leo Balcazar also has 2 hits so far on the night. All right, down to High A, the Dayton Dragons. This team just keeps winning. They beat Lansing 6-3. Dragons now 46-32. The headliner for this one, though, Brian Hayes made his debut, first rehab game. He went 1 for 3. Played the first 5 innings, batting second for the Dragons. Singled in the third, Mr. Brian Hayes. Ryan McChrystal stayed hot. He's been awesome down at Dayton. He was 2 for 4. Jacob Friend, 1 for 4. And how about Tyson Lewis hit his first home run at the High A level? He was 1 for 4. And Marcus Smith, 2 for 4 with a home run. That's 2 home runs for Marcus Smith, just signed earlier this week from the Kansas City Monarchs. So shout out to Marcus Smith. All right, down to low A, the Daytona Tortugas, they lost 5-3 to Bradenton. Tortugas now 6-6 in the second half. But oh, daddy, how about this stat line? Sheng-En Lin, 5 innings, 0 runs, 0 walks, 8 strikeouts for our king, Shang and Lin, he's pitching much better of late. That is wonderful to see. Bernard Moon, he stayed hot. He's playing really well. 1 for 2 with a double and a walk. Arnaldo Lantigua was 0 for 3. Out in the Arizona Complex League, the ACL Reds currently lead the ACL Dodgers 4-3. Steele Hall in this one already has a 2 RBI double in the third inning. Eli Pitts also has a single. And then earlier today, the Dominican Summer League, the DSL Reds, they split a doubleheader with the DSL Orioles Black. They won game 1 9-8. That was the completion of a game from earlier this year. Lost the second game 7-3. They're 13-11 on the season. Liberty Ponte had a good day, though. 3 for 8 with a triple and a walk. I think he's the Reds' number 12th ranked prospect. Been playing very well of late. And then Angel Salio hit his second home run of the year. Also stole 2 bags. He's got 12 on the season. And the DSL Rojos, they fell 15-7 to the DSL Brewers Blue. Angel Nunez did not play. Carlos Hernandez was 1 for 4. That is your Reds MILB. Presented, I'm sorry.
There it is.
Your Reds MILB. I am so sorry. Presented by our
Not
friends. They're still, you know what? I'll miss one. So they're sponsored tonight. They're sponsored by our friends at 78 Cigars. Cincinnati legend Anthony Munoz has a new venture. We're fired up to partner with it here on Chatterbox Reds. Introducing 78 Cigars, a premium cigar line from the Hall of Famer himself. If you love great cigars in Cincinnati football history, this is the perfect combination. You can grab 78 Cigars right now at both Montgomery and locations or over at Creekside Cigar Company. You can also check them out online. Just head to anthonymunoz.com. Click on the 78 Cigars page and learn more or place your order today. That's 78 Cigars from the greatest offensive lineman to ever do it, Anthony Munoz.
All right, Reds. All right, Nick. Look, it doesn't get any easier for the Reds with the pitching matchups. Obviously, Trevor Rogers tonight, but tomorrow, an equally difficult matchup with maybe a name that folks haven't heard a whole lot of, but is certainly turning heads for the Orioles organization. That's Brandon Young. We'll talk about him in just a minute, but this will be a difficult series for him. More importantly, the Reds, big debut on the mound for them on Saturday.
Yeah, who the hell cares about Brandon Young? Hunter Green's back. Hunter Green back on the 4th of July, America's birthday. Doesn't get any better than that. 7:10 start time. Hunter Green was incredible during his rehab assignment. Just absolutely dominant. And he has struggled during his rehab assignments when he's come back in years past. So I don't know how that'll translate. Green, for the most part, it feels like when he's come back has taken him a few starts to get it under his belt. We'll see. Maybe he's able to hit the ground running. Look, it's been a bad year, but it would be really nice to just see Hunter Green pitch well and look like that ace that we know that he is. And it just would be nice to see like Hunter Green and Chase Burns like both dominating at the same time. Like that just makes your whole team better. I mean, that is 2/5 of your rotation. That is 40% of your starts can be Hunter Green and Chase Burns. And as we know, when those guys pitch, you have a good chance of winning. So excited to see Hunter Green back on the mound. Hopefully he can hit the ground running and at least give us some excitement during this brutal season.
Nothing about Brandon Young. You don't want to give us anything on
I could care less about Brandon Young. It's about Hunter Green. He's a right-handed pitcher, so that's good.
Right-handed pitcher, 6-2 on the year, 3.11 ERA. Faced the Reds once last year. Went 4 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned. Walked 3, struck out 3. TJ Friedl doubled against Young. And JJ Bleday is 1 for 2. Ellie De La Cruz 0 for 2. Matt McLean 0 for 2. And Jose Trevino also has a double. He's 1 for 2. So TJ Friedl 2 for 2 with a double. Expect to see him in center field tomorrow.
That was his big
Brandon Young.
That was his big league debut against the Reds last year.
It was.
Craig, if you would have told me, if you would have said, has Brandon Young faced the Reds, I probably would have bet $500 that he is not. I have never heard of this guy. I do not remember that April 18th game last year. Must have been a game that I was off. Hunter Green pitched. Hunter Green faced Brandon Young last year. This is crazy.
A matchup. This is a rematch of the Brandon Young debut from last year. Look,
Three-
just to put it
homers.
in perspective, Brendan Young, we talked about Trevor Rogers, 2.05 ERA in June. Well, Brendan Young, 2.76 ERA in June. Oh, yeah, by the way, in May, it was 2.86 for the month. So this is a guy who's been on fire for his last 10 starts. That's after a difficult outing against Houston on April 30th, where he went 4 innings, gave up 9 hits, 10 runs, only 4 of them earned, though. But yeah, just the last 10 outings, basically the last 2 months, 18 total earned runs over the course of 57 plus innings. So Reds yet again with another difficult matchup coming their way on Saturday. So Greg and I will be live in the 9th inning on your 4th of July. I am sure there is nothing else that anybody in this chat could be doing tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. Well, I guess Eastern time it'll be closer to like 9:30 or 10. But look, there's nothing else you could possibly be doing on July 4th at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. I fully expect a chat of 600 people. No, 1,776 people will be in chat tomorrow night celebrating Hunter Green's return. And I look forward to chatting about it with all of you. Nick, any final thoughts?
No, appreciate you, Craig, as always. Craig, I haven't shouted you enough on this show. You do so much for our company. You are incredible, and it is very, very much appreciated. Thank you, Craig, for all you do.
You got it, buddy. I have fun with it. It's a lot of work, but it's fun. And one of these days, it's going to pay off with a World Series run that we're all going to be a part of. And it'll all be worth it. But man, years like this, I know you've said it before, years like this, doing 162 of these, woof. But we do them all. And for some reason, there are hundreds of you in the chat every single night commiserating with us. Misery loves company, and we love you. That is for sure. But that'll do it for tonight. Nick, hope you have a great 4th. I'll see everybody tomorrow in the 9th inning, maybe on time this time. Maybe. We'll see. No promises.
Well, you have the keys. You have the keys tomorrow, so you can.
That's probably true. It's probably true. We'll be early. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Enjoy your 4th. Stay safe. And don't forget, if you're not able to join us tomorrow, check us out in the podcast version on Sunday morning or on YouTube whenever you get a chance on Sunday as well. Make sure you drop us a like, subscribe, all those fun things. Comment on the video. We'll see you next time, everybody. Nick and Trace back on Sunday night to recap the Orioles series.
Not Trace.
See you, everybody. Not Trace. Just kidding. Me? Am I back on Sunday too?
Me and someone. Mike, maybe.
Doesn't matter. Chatterbox will have you covered as we always do. See you guys.